She backed out on me like the week of closing.
And
You knew
met your
Carol?
guy out there.
You knew Carol? Oh my gosh.
Well, I was doing work for her, and she's like, I want everything, no Mickey Mouse, top of the line.
Oh my God. This is 90% done and it's all new. Okay. All right. So here are all the properties. Yeah. I mean, different, you group the loans. That's great. So this is all their payments, right? So this is his monthly payments on all of them. Owes this much rent. Okay. Nice. And then, yeah, you broke this down. Okay. And then, yeah, dude, this is even better too. You've got, so this is rent. Yeah. So this shows immediately he's got, but I even know too, right? So like, let me just look at this one. So this is one I know really well. I flipped a house on 41 Incline.
I looked at the underwriting sheet and I felt like I could build something better for this guy's scenario. So hopefully that's, yeah. And then you can see potential rents versus what he's renting for. He knows that stuff's undervalued, did the math on that stuff. So.
Let me look too. Like, for example, I know 41 Incline is this one. This one's right. Oh, but it's right next to it. I think they're like a bunch of little townhouses.
Yeah.
I remember looking at them. So, and then I even know value. Yeah, I think I sold mine. That's probably about, ooh, his loan balance is a little bit higher on that one, but it's a.
No, so what you're looking at there, everything underneath the green section is all combined. So all four of those are a total of 163.
Wow. Okay. And all three of these are under. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
and
so
that's
at the
what we
bottom
added.
I have totals. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. All right. So, and then your Zestimate. Okay. So
Yeah.
he owes. Yeah. So because maybe conservative or is based on Zestimates. I think that's a good look at. Yeah. Zestimates at one. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I think those are probably more like. What did I sell mine for? I'm pretty sure we sold ours for like 160, 170 on 41. Let's just look at it actually. 41.
The Zestimates seemed like they're pretty decent. That and then, I mean, Zestimates are way off when you have like things that are all over the place. There's so many of those little units in there that they seem to be relatively accurate.
So this was my renovated one. It should sell where I listed it. Yeah, I listed it for 167 and we pretty much, I think we got full asking. Actually, we might have got over. So I think this was a couple years, that was a couple years ago. Just a year, that was 1 year ago. Yeah. So I flipped that one a year ago, just for reference. So, and so Zestimate's a little bit under, so conservative. So I'll just gonna make a note here. Okay, and then the last thing is, have you talked any numbers with this guy yet, as far as like purchase prices?
I haven't, no. So I have told him very clearly that, we do things a few different ways, and that one of the things we're going to do is make sure is get him a creative offer. And he's asked me, a few different things. What do you guys do? Are you just wholesalers? And I told him you had experience out there and in line, and so he knows everything except for numbers. And I just told him this one's a bit complicated, so it's going to take me a minute to get it figured out. But
and he gave you all this info, huh? That's half the battle to get this shit.
He gave me the first couple of lines. I created the rest of it.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. But at least yeah, so okay, sounds like he just gave you his monthly payment and his loan amount, and
yeah, he gave me, and then which loans were, or which properties were grouped together under which loans. That's yeah. So he gave me a couple little things that way, and I just created the rest of it. I wanted it to be an easy snapshot. That was the best thing I could think of to do. That and then get all the bedrooms and bathrooms and all the fun stuff like that.
Dude, this is freaking wild. Like, I own 45 units in this town already, and we've got 120 we're looking to close in the next couple of weeks, and now here's freaking like 20 more of them. This house, there's only 10,000 people in this entire town, but I don't know whether I'm scared or excited because we'll have, like, I thought we had the monopoly before we had looked at this one, but it might not be. But man, dude, I think it's just going to continue to grow. Like, I need to go find that article. There was an article about like Park City went on strike like last winter because like jobs and not enough people to work, and they can't afford to live there. And it was somebody who's saying we need to just build a little shuttle service that shuttles people from Evanston to Park City every day, and they could live for a lot cheaper. But okay, let me call him. This one looks solid. Yeah, very rarely do I get to look at a portfolio this big, and also in a portfolio where I know the market well. These are hard, few and far between.
It's Pat.
Hey Pat, this is Casey Gregerson.
Hey.
How are
Hey,
ya?
what's up?
Hey, I'm doing good, I was just catching up with Yeah, I was catching up with Mike about this property. I was just saying, I'm super excited because I don't know if he told you, I own, do you know the apartments up on Lilac Way? Right there by the interstate?
Oh, yeah. My wife used to live in there before we got married.
Really? Yeah. I've heard they've had
By the one by the car wash?
Yes. Well, no, this is the one that's right by the interstate, like it butts up to the interstate.
Oh, the old
cherished homes.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
You got those.
Well, you should go see them now. They're a lot better.
Yeah, well, I was doing work for that gal who sold them to you. She was kind of half crazy. And I
You knew
met your
Carol?
guy out there.
You knew Carol? Oh my gosh.
Well, I was doing work for her, and she's like, I want everything, no Mickey Mouse, top of the line. And then I was coming through with the bills and stuff. She goes, well, this is way too much. I'm like, I mean, you're talking top of the line stuff. I mean, what do you want me to do? And then she backed off, and then she sold it to you. And I met your guy out there to try to give him some guidance of what I had. So.
Oh man. Okay. Did you meet Tyrick, or which one did you meet?
Bigger guy.
Oh, bigger. Heavy set guy. Okay.
Like 6'2", maybe.
Just Clint. Yeah, you met Clint then.
Yeah.
Really, like big, tall guy. Like looks like he's my bodyguard.
Exactly. That's him.
Okay, yeah, that's good then. That's so funny. Yeah, she was. You know what? That was the only. So I own about 400 units now across Wyoming. The only time I've ever bought something where I didn't see all the units, and I walked into some unknown units, and I was surprised. And I think we're ones that you were like 90% done, and we walked into these, and we're like, oh my God, this is 90% done, and it's all new. Like we were, for the first time, I was happily surprised.
Yeah, but then she had those ones up by the office where they had I told your guy they have aluminum wiring and all. I seen you guys been working your butts off on it big time. So
yeah, we did. Some of those ones were. Yeah, some of those were rough. Whoa, cool. Okay.
They were a lot rough. They were bad. Horrible.
Yeah.
Insane horrible. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Well, cool. You'll have to come sit at some time.
A little off a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
That's just between me.
Well, dude, that's a story for another day, but like this is crazy. She backed out on me like the week of closing because we structured it creatively. She was actually going to take a second lien behind me and she was fine with it, right? And then when we got all the paperwork, she's like, no, I'm not doing this. And then I was literally like, I realized she was not going to bend even though she had signed it. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll make you first lien. This is still a good deal. And she's like, no, I don't trust you. I'm not moving forward. And I'm like,
well, that'd be her. She had all kinds of conspiracy theories about her brothers and uncles and taking everything, and I got a water leak over there one time, and did you see my brother over here? I think he sabotaged it. I'm like, no, it's underneath the stairs, the freaking froze. You got no heat in here. I know it was him. I need cameras up everywhere. Like, this is how much it's going to cost. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh man, that's funny. We could, all right. I could go off. I could share too many stories, but well, cool. But yeah, I finally literally wired all my money to this title company, and I got my attorney involved. I'm like, we are ready to close, and if you back out on this, we will file a lawsuit. So fortunately, she showed up and signed, and rest is history. She had all kinds of stories and properties in California, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, just you don't want me here no more. This is the final bill. I'm done. And then I found out, because I asked her, I said, got a couple buddies or whatever at that time. I was like, well, how much you want for them? Well, I was going to try to buy them.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, this. I'm like, okay, whatever. Whatever you want.
Well, good. So. Timing's everything. Well, cool. All right. Well, let's talk about your portfolio, man. Now that I know you and kind of now I remember actually those conversations because I was trying to talk to those contractors. So I just connected those dots. Right. Funny thing is, too, like I know the ones on Incline, I flipped one on 41 Incline. I don't know if you remember that one. We flipped that one a year ago. I listed that one.
Yes, I think so.
Yep, it was gross, man. It was some of the my guys said they couldn't even work in there it was so much cat urine. But anyway, it turned out beautiful. But a lot of kills. But so I know this area, I know these apartments well across the board. So sounds like you would if you could bundle up the whole portfolio. Are you moving to where? Where are you moving to?
I'm not moving anywhere.
Oh.
I'm just trying to be honest with you. If I could get rid of we're at our age now. We've got a place down in Mesquite, one little condo. But if I could sell the Inclines, that would pay all the rest of the other stuff I got. There's a few more on the portfolio I didn't want to get rid of. I just bought a house with a fourplex on it on 18th Street.
Nice.
But the Incline ones, you know, I was looking at doing my numbers and stuff like that, get them sold, everything else to be paid for, and then I could just kind of settle off into retirement a little bit.
There you go.
I'm 58 now, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'll have like 18 of them and just live a little better life, and then for my grandkids and shit.
There you go. Okay, I like it.
If that
So
makes sense.
totally makes sense. So yeah, I can do it two ways, right? Just like you, like the cash offer would be less, right? But do you feel like you need to because you've got some pretty good debt on this? Or actually, let me ask you this: are most of your what are the rates? I know there's you shared all. I'm looking at the spreadsheet that Mike Asher put together for me, based on what you sent him. But like, are most of your rates between like 4 to 5%, or where are they? Where typically at?
Yeah, I think it's like 5.25. I think.
Okay. Did you finance them all at once? Most of them?
The way I got them together, like I said, the loan on this one, I did 4 of them together. That building, 17, 18, 19, 20. When I bought those, that was all in one.
Okay.
And then 137, 138, 139, and 27, and actually 28 was all in one, but I sold 28 to the lady not too long ago, so 27 is in there, and then
Okay.
22 is by itself. And that one there, when I bought it, was disgusting. I bought it from a guy I knew and went in there and redid freaking everything. I
Really?
got pictures of that one. Oh
Wow.
my God.
Okay.
Matter of fact, my painter, sheetrock guy's like, oh no, you hire somebody else. I'm not touching this shit till it's cleaner. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's funny. Yeah, I've been there, man. Been there. Okay. So anyway, so that's around. So let me ask you this: the best way for me to give the highest offer, right, would be as if I could take over your. Have you ever structured anything like contract for deed where I made payments to you, we kept the loan in place? Have you ever done anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. We've done it on quite a few of ours lately just because rates are so, because if I go, because I'm going to want to use leverage too, man. So if I go borrow, I'm probably at 7% at least. So
7 or 8. Maybe,
7 or 8.
Something like that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So if I can take advantage of your 5.5, like I'd love to do that, and then give you a little piece of your equity. But let me ask you this: do you need all your equity out, or do you feel like if I gave you a chunk of it and then I kept making payments, because it sounds like at least you wouldn't be managing the property, you'd become the bank, and you'd still have a little bit of income coming in every month. What do you think?
Then a little bit of income coming in every month with a chunk of cash. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be very reasonable on that one.
Okay.
Now, everything but 22 was on a lower interest.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah. And even
I just purchased that last year, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. And honestly, yeah, not
But
a
I
big
could
deal.
keep that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would love to roll them. Either way, we'll roll them all up together, and we can pull things out if you want.
Okay.
But okay. And the other piece is, you probably know, capital gains, right? I'm assuming
Yes.
if you sell them for what you're wanting to, it's a lot more than what you got them for, which is good. So I don't know if you know this, but if we set it up this way, it's called like an installment sale. We would take over, right? I would own it. But I would pay you if I pay you over time. Have you ever looked at that? Like, I don't know if you know this. If you're married filing jointly, up to $90,000 per year is not taxed. There's 0% capital gains, and then it's 15% on everything after that. So so think about that. If you sold all this all together and you had $500,000 of equity or $500,000 of gain, you would pay 15% on that. But what I would say is, let's stretch that out over 5 or 10 years and keep it under $90,000 a year, and then you pay 0%, which is really cool.
Correct. Yeah, that's cool.
I'll send you
that would be a bonus.
Yeah, I'll send you a little chart that's from like the IRS that shows you those thresholds. That way you know. That way you can kind of play with it.
And you probably know, but I can double verify it with my accountant.
CPA. Yep.
In town.
Yes. There you go. So, okay, what do you think? So I think sounds like this is, dude, honestly, these are the best deals I've done. I did one in Laramie like this with it was an elderly lady, and her son was managing it, and he lived in Nevada, and he was just like, this is too much, and he just wanted to have that income coming in for his mom, and we financed it over. So anyway, it was great. So these are my favorite deals because they're actually it's actually a win-win versus, you know what I mean, when you buy a cash deal. I mean, we got to protect ourselves, and sometimes they feel shortchanged on the other end, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the thing to hammer out would be, how do we figure out sort of like, because I feel like I think if we figure out the fair market value or fair purchase price, we can back into the rest of it. You know what I mean? Because I'll know your loan amount. we could figure out how much cash you need. But what do you think is, do you have figures on each one of these properties where you feel like, hey, this is a fair number?
I haven't even got to that. I actually got your letter in the mail the day I was leaving up here for work, and I haven't even gone that far into it.
Okay, got it.
See what you think and see what I think, and I'll contact somebody. And it's a wheeling and dealing. We are workable, so
cool, man.
I'm sure we can come up with something.
All right. And then last thing
to this, but yeah.
Yeah. And then the last piece is the lower the down payment, the better I can, it's like a teeter-totter, right? As long as my down payment is lower, that allows me to give you more on the purchase price. But how much cash do you feel like you need? Because I know you mentioned you would pay off the other ones, but if I can just take the whole thing down and give you a little chunk, would you be open to say 10%? Or do you feel like you're going to need, I can do 25, but I'm not going to be able to give you as much on the purchase price, you know?
Let me look at my notes and all other stuff like that. I apologize. I'm at work right now. You can hear the radio in the background.
All good.
But see what you can work, whatever, and I get home a week from tomorrow. I'm up in the North Slope, oil and gas.
Oh, nice. What company?
Yeah, Hillcorp.
Hillcorp. Nice. When did you start? Did you just recently get back on with them?
No, about 3 years ago.
3 years ago, huh? Are you drilling, or what are you doing up there?
Plant operations.
Oh, plant.
Yeah.
You said plant operations.
Inside the facility, yeah.
Oh, good for you. That's a good play.
Yeah, it's a good job with good insurance.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this. I worked for Shell for 12 years on the drilling side, and I also I did completions, frac, and workovers too. But I never got to work Pinedale. I was always down in Texas and a little bit in Alberta.
Yeah, I did Pinedale for a while with Denbury, but yeah.
Really?
You were up with Shell. Yeah, I lived in Pinedale.
Really?
Right there by the park, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for about 3 years.
Really? Oh, Pinedale's.
Yeah.
Pinedale's changed a lot, hasn't it?
It has. But it is a beautiful area, but there's some people there that are pretty snobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell you a story for later on. Maybe I could give you a call when I get a little bit of a break, or what time you go to bed at night?
You know what? Oh man, my wife would kill
me.
Yeah, well, I've actually got 4 little ones, so my wife, she's hard enough to work till 5 some days without her wanting to come pull me out of my office.
I'll tell you what. Let me do some research. Let you do some research, and then maybe we can come together next Thursday afternoon. I think I land in Salt Lake in the morning. Will that work with you?
Cool. And you know what? I've got this in a spreadsheet. So if it's okay, I'll share the spreadsheet with you. And I thought I've got everything. Man, Mike was awesome. He neatly built this out. So I think I'll put my column, maybe of prices, and then maybe you could put yours, and then we can just work off that. And then, I agree. Then let's at some point get on a call.
I mean, we're not in no hurry. You're not in no hurry, but let's work towards getting the deal done. Sweet.
Awesome. All right.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Pat. All right. See ya. Bye. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. Dude, that was awesome. That could be a really, really good deal. Those are like the dream. What's that?
I said I had a great conversation with him, and I set these up as less of some blind appointment you're walking into. I want him to know that we're going to structure something creative for him, especially at this kind of scale. And he seemed more than open to it, and he seemed like a really reasonable guy to talk to. So for me, I was like, I have to figure out how to put this together so you can see it, because I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. So
yes, hell yeah, it was easy. As you guys can see, calls are never that smooth and easy, but it was a lot of the pre-work Mike did to kind of frame this up, and also just knowing the market, right? That's the beauty of these deals in my backyard, where I'm like, there's so many connections, you can connect with people. And the fact that he knew this lady, that crazy lady that we bought, I'll have to tell you guys that story another time. It is hilarious. I literally closed that deal on the way back from Owners Club. I almost lost the deal because we were working on the funding, and I was raising money through my fund, and it was down to the last minute. But we put it together, and I literally closed that on the flight from Phoenix back into Houston in the air on Southwest Wi-Fi. We were going back and forth to the title company. And anyway, it was one of the most exhilarating. We landed, and I got the email that she had came in and signed, and I almost jumped up and started shouting. I was so excited.
I remember
it was
that one out.
Yeah, 45 units, $2 million purchase price. It was awesome. But okay, sweet, Mike. So let's I think next steps is we can just modify your sheet. We'll remove a lot of that stuff out of there, but I'll probably just look at your sheet, Mike, and manipulate it, and then I'm just going to put in some numbers based on what I know in that market. And that's my thought is I'll put mine in, he could put his in, but we got all those notes. I mean, the fact that he'll take 10% was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, real easy to make a copy of these things, and then worst case scenario, we have all the original info. And then, do you need me to set anything up, or do you want me to just plug them into next Thursday, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, we should just have a group text or group email going on with this guy, and then kind of see how it goes. I think, yeah, you know what? We can just put something in for next Thursday. But my thought would be, in the meantime, let's go back and forth on numbers a little bit, and just keep that dialogue going.
Gotcha.
Sweet. That was one of my favorite sales calls. I'm glad we recorded that one.